Hello and good day. Welcome to my math class. This is Statistics and Probability, and I am Teacher Burns. We have Lesson 1, Estimation of Parameters using Module 4. After this video, you should be able to illustrate point and interval estimation, distinguish between point and interval estimations, and compute for the point estimate and the interval estimation of the population mean. Now let us recall the region under the normal curve. Looking at the region under the curve, where our population mean is at the center, from the right side of the mean we have 3 standard deviations, and from the left side of the mean we have the -1, -2, -3 standard deviation. The sign from the mean to the right is the positive standard deviation, and from the mean to the left are the negative standard deviations. What does it mean? If we have one standard deviation to the right of the mean and to the left of the mean, this is the boundary for 68.9% area under the curve. From the mean to 2 standard deviation away to the right and 2 standard deviation to the left is actually equal to 95.4% area under the normal curve. So the highest is 4 and -4 as the boundary from the mean. Usually we use 95% as the area under the normal curve. Now I am showing you the summary of the z-scores for commonly used confidence interval. In the most commonly used confidence interval are the following: 90%, 95%, and the 99%. So if we're going to use the 95% confidence interval, this means that from the 100% area under the curve, we subtracted that one with the alpha, and that is equal to 0.95. The 95% in decimal form is 0.95. What do you mean by alpha? Alpha is actually the E, or the margin of error. If our area under the normal curve is 95%, then our margin of error is 5%. So this means that the 5% is actually the rejection region, which is divided into 2. So to the right side we have 2.5, and to the left side we have 2.5. So the one that is shown in the arrow is the rejection region under the normal curve, while 95% is oftentimes equal to the z-value of 1.960 from the mean, which is the center under the normal curve, is actually where we base our point estimate. And the confidence interval is actually the upper limit and the lower limit under the normal curve. So the confidence interval is from this lower limit up to the upper limit. So parameter estimation is the process of making inferences or conclusion about a population based on the information or value obtained from a sample describing the characteristics of the population. So for example, we wanted to describe the characteristic of the grade 11 students in terms of academic. Instead of making a survey all throughout the grade 11 students, we can just make use of one section. Another is, suppose we wanted to know the income of a particular town. Instead of making a survey all throughout the population, we can just take a sample, like 3 families per barangay for our sample, and all the numerical data that we gather from this sample will be the basis of our conclusion about the characteristic of this population. So I hope this is understood. Now, what is point estimate? Point estimate is actually the sample mean, which is used to estimate the population mean. Interval estimate is a range of value that contains the population parameter, also known as the confidence interval. So you see here on the screen, this is the formula that we use for interval estimate. Here is the lower limit, and this is the upper limit. So you have to refer to your Module 4, Lesson 1 for the details of this formula. Now, this part here is the sample mean, while this portion in here in the formula is where we find the standard deviation, the sample size, the confidence interval, and the confidence coefficient, which is the z-score. So again, I'm showing you the summary of scores for the commonly used confidence interval that we shall be using in solving for the interval estimate. Take note that the z value here is the standard value for whatever confidence level that we have chosen. Now let us have the situation. Situation A. In this time of pandemic, we need to spend wisely. It helps to be vigilant on our weekly or monthly consumption so that we can monitor the flow of finances. If you are asked to know how much your family have been spending in the past few months, we can do estimation of the main consumption of your family's expenses using this data gathered. This may include your food, electric, and water bill. Suppose this is your family's consumption for the past 8 months. We have 13,300, 14,800, 18,800, 17,900, 23,500, 24,700, 22,000, and 29,000. These are the questions. What is the point estimate of your family's consumption? Take note that this could also estimate your family's consumption in a year. Number 2, using your point estimator, find the confidence interval of your annual consumption with a standard deviation of 8,000 and a confidence level of 95%. And letter C, make an inference on your estimated annual consumption and the range of consumptions your family is spending. Let us have our solution. Let's answer letter A. What is the point estimate of your family's consumption, which will also be your estimate of the family's consumption in a year? Given, we write all the sample size, which is 8, and these are all the values that we have. For our solution, we simply add all of this data that we have gathered and divided by the sample size, which is 8. So the answer is 20,500. This is our point estimate of the family's consumption. Now let us have the solution for letter B. Using your point estimator, find the confidence interval of your annual consumption with a standard deviation of 8,000 and a confidence level of 95%. For our given, we have n as our sample size, which is equal to 8. The sample mean is 20,500. The population standard deviation is 8,000. And our confidence level is 95%, which is written in decimal form. So surely you still remember how to change percent to decimal, which is 95. And our confidence level is 95%, which we shall be writing in decimal form. So you have to recall the knowledge on how to change 95% to decimal form. So the decimal form of 95% is 0.95. And for our confidence coefficient for the 95% is 1.96. Now for our solution, we use the formula of the confidence interval and we substitute the values of the given. So we first solve in here, we simplify 8,000 divided by square root of 8. This is our answer. Multiply that 1 to 1.96. The answer is 5,543.7172. So the class interval is 14,956.28. This is our confidence interval. Here is our lower limit and this is our upper limit. You need calculator to be able to solve for this value. So for our answers, we have A, The point estimate of your family's consumption is 20,500. And for B, the confidence interval of your annual consumption with standard deviation of 8,000 and confidence level of 95%, the confidence interval is 14,956.28 and 26,043.72. So for our inferences, we have thus your family spending an estimated average consumption of 20,500. Moreover, the confidence interval tells us that the family's minimum consumption is 14,956.28, while the maximum consumption could reach up to 26,043.72. What I have learned in this lesson is that point estimators are statistical measures that are used to find an approximate value of a population parameter from random samples of the population. They use the sample data of a population to calculate a point estimate or a statistic that serves as the best estimate of an unknown parameter. And interval estimate or the confidence interval shows us the boundaries of values of our population mean. So what's the difference between point estimate and confidence interval? Point estimate or the mean has only one estimate of a parameter, while the confidence interval gives us richer data and shows us likely the value of true population mean by giving us the upper limit and the lower limit. So in the given situation, you see that this lesson about estimating parameters gives us three options. One is to know the average level of spending to avoid possible financial crisis. Second option is know how to tighten our belt and spend to the minimum level in order to save for the future. Or the third option is to live an extraordinary lifestyle, spending to the maximum level without worrying about the future. So in these three given options or situations, which would you prefer? The choice is yours. I believe in you. I hope you're enlightened. That's all for now. See you next topic. Thanks for your time. God bless.